Good morning, everyone. Welcome to yoga this morning. So before we get started, I'm going to ask you to pause here and go find yourself a cup, maybe a mug or a teacup, something that's appealing to you, something that's special. Because today we're going to be working from a book called A Cup of Our Life by Joyce Rupp. So pause now, go get your cup, and we'll explain more. So welcome back. Hope you have a nice cup. If you couldn't find a cup, or if you're not in a place where you can get a cup, you can certainly, when we do our meditation, you can hold your hands out and cup your hands and just notice the space. So the book, A Cup of Our Life, is a 6-week program, and using a cup as a meditation tool for different aspects of ourselves: the empty cup, the full cup, the broken cup, the blessing cup, many different ways of looking at a cup and the space inside and outside. So that's a book. This is a book that I've gone through many times with groups and myself, and I highly recommend it to you as a guide for spiritual disciplines and wonderful writings and awareness of who we are with a sweet meditation on a cup during each session. So today we're going to do one together. So today, this is really important. This is yoking ourselves with God's presence within. And in these times when there's so much happening, it doesn't matter what political party you're involved in, there's a lot of emotion. Emotion is running high. People are really looking for an anchor for their souls. So I invite you today to contemplate with me and Joyce the concept of our bodies being a container for God's presence. They say you learn something new every day. Well, yesterday I came upon this quote by the author Ann Voskamp, and I thought it was really neat, and I want to share it with you because it really means something to me. It's just one sentence, and she says, "Enthusiasm always blazes within the best life, because enthusiasm comes from entheos, which literally means God within." Enthusiasm, the word enthusiasm comes from the Greek word entheos, which literally means God within. So isn't that a good word for us today? You know, yoga means yoking with God within. It means union. So today we're going to certainly explore that together. That what is it that gives you enthusiasm? What is it that makes you aware of God within, moving, prompting, teaching, loving, being presence, loving presence? Whew. And so even when we talk about our breath, we think about inspiration, breathing in God's presence. And when we think of that full out breath, we think of breathing God's presence into the world through our lives and letting go of those things that stand between us and knowing God's presence more. So I hope today that we can, in our practice, open our hearts, our minds, our bodies to a further awareness of God's presence within. So go ahead and rest back on your mat for our introduction, our beginning of our voyage into ourselves, coming home to ourselves, to God's presence within. Make yourself comfortable on your mat, wherever you are, in whatever way feels right to you. Maybe you need a blanket under your knees, or a bolster, blanket under your head, a pillow, whatever. Go ahead and rest down there. And once you get yourself situated on your mat, look around. Those of you who have been with me for a long time know that we always start by looking, seeing where we are. It takes some effort to come to this place, into this sacred space on your mat. So maybe letting go of what you've already done this morning And notice how you feel on your mat, looking around, saying, here I am. What is this place? Where am I? What do I see? And after acknowledging your location, go ahead and close your eyes if that's comfortable. If it isn't, just soften your gaze and begin to listen. What sounds do you hear? What quieter sounds? What louder sounds? What sounds in your own body maybe can you hear right now? Just listen. It is this looking and listening practice that prepares us to live our lives noting God's presence within. We listen for that voice that we know as we get to know God better and better. We recognize God everywhere. We know that voice as we have practiced listening. So coming now to an awareness of your body resting here. This is your temple. Awesome creation. Made up of light, elements, all molded together in this sweet body of yours, with life being breathed in by God's presence right into your nostrils this morning. So I invite you to notice as the back of your head is resting and cradled by the floor underneath God's hand, your back body can settle in. How do the shoulder blades feel as they settle into the earth? Notice your back settling, hips, maybe the backs of your legs, wherever they are, over a bolster or on the ground. And your heels settling, your arms, backs of your arms, whatever parts of your body are touching the earth right now, just notice. And as you're here, maybe you can begin to soften a little bit, become aware. And then taking your awareness to your front body, noticing your face. Where are you holding tension in your face? Are you clenching your jaw? I invite you to soften your jaw, soften your brow. Soften all around your eyes, around your ears, your scalp. Soften your throat, your chest. Allow your arms to rest, your palms to soften and open. In whatever way feels comfortable for you, just notice. And then going to your belly, allowing your belly to soften. Maybe you're digesting your breakfast this morning. Maybe you can hear some little sounds coming from there, little meowing or lions roaring or whatever that is. Just notice. Allowing your pelvis to settle. That space between your hip pointers, the anterior spines of your iliac bone, from side to side, your lower pelvis just softening, opening, your legs relaxing, knees, shins, feet. And so now, maybe that we're a little bit more aware of our bodies resting here, let's focus on the breath for a moment. Noticing your breath moving in, breath just gliding out, in and out. Notice your easy breath, wherever it is. Maybe it isn't easy, maybe you're struggling, and that's okay too. Just notice your breath. So our breath is involuntary as we move through our day, our heartbeat, our body functions, our breathing, all just taken care of for us as we move along. God within, just setting it all in motion. And sometimes what we think affects our breathing, and we might hold our breath in a bit of stress. So I invite you now to soften that And the breath is something that we really can control with our thoughts. So coming in and gently lengthening out with intention your inhale so that your belly maybe expands. You might feel your body begin to expand on your inhale and resting down and softening on your exhale. And so notice the breath moving in, moving out gently. And so as you rest in your easy breath, remembering our thoughts for today, that this breathing is what can bring us in a very focused manner to that union between your mind, your spirit, and your body. Your body brings in the breath with an awareness of breathing in God's presence and spirit. Your mind receives it and softens and rests down upon God's presence. Your out breath sends out away from you intentionally tension, anything that doesn't serve you, anything that's not of God's will for your life and mind and heart today, letting it go. So breathing easy in and out. And as you rest in your breath, I'll share with you from the book of John today, the Gospel of John, chapter 15. And this is from the Message version. As Jesus is speaking to his disciples just moments or hours before his arrest. So he's laying out before him the things that are urgent, the things that are most pressing on his mind and heart to get across to us now. As he says, live in me. Make your home in me just as I do in you. Can you see him saying that to you today? Can you imagine his face before you? Eyes looking into your eyes, saying, live in me. Make your home in me just as I do in you. In the same way that a branch can't bear grapes by itself, but only being joined to the vine, you cannot bear fruit unless you are joined with me. Urgent, important, that joining, that engrafting of your life into the presence of God, presence of Christ, Ruach, wind, spirit within you. I am the vine, you are the branches. When you're joined with me, and I with you, the relationship intimate and organic. The harvest is sure to be abundant. Oh, what a promise this is for us today as Jesus looks us in the eye and pleads with us, please let me make my home in you so that your harvest may be full. Make this relationship intimate and organic. So what does that look like for you today? An intimate relationship with Jesus, God, Holy Spirit living within you. Where does that take place? Can you feel it? Can you sense it? Where is that moist, open, fertile soil within you where you intentionally take that seed and plant it and press it in? Jesus takes it and gently presses it into that place within where it can grow and flourish, intimate and organic, not affected by poisons or anything that would be toxic, but to be pure and clean as that seed sprouts and opens and brings forth fruit. Because of your union with the Holy Spirit, it is flourishing. Fruit in abundance from you. What does that look like for you today? How does that feel in your body, in your heart? So going back to your breath, how does the breath feel now that you know that Jesus is implanted in you in an intimate and organic way? Maybe you can sip in the breath and taste it. Taste and see that God is good. His love endures forever within you, within us. around us, above us, within. So I invite you to walk through your practice today with enthusiasm and theos, God within. So let's take a big stretch on your mat. How's this feeling for you? As you reach out end to end. So I'm going to lie down with you here and stretch out. And we'll reach out end to end. And as you're here, let's circle out wrists and ankles, checking in. If you'd like to take your arms by your side now, please do that. And just circle out the wrists, circle out your ankles, and reverse it. So we're doing these things where we're walking through these practices that release tension in the body to open up more space in the energy lines in our body, our meridians, our energy centers. We're creating space for God's presence. So maybe we can think of that today. And so good. Now we're going to circle out from the elbows. So just circle around from your elbows. You can keep circling your ankles if you like. And then guide your hands down next to you to rest as you begin to flex and point through your feet. So feeling your ankles here, noticing if you're hearing some snap, crackle, pops, whatever. Breathing. So as you breathe in, think about creating space in every cell, between all the cells of your body, within the muscle, within the bones. Good. And then we'll draw one knee in, other knee in. Snuggle them into your chest, taking your kneecaps in your hands, just drawing in gently. And then we'll circle out through the hip socket. So you're having your hands on your kneecaps. You want to just widen your knees, draw them back in, circle around. You're thinking of that ball and socket just circling around. And reverse. Breathing all the while. Nice, full, deep breaths in, sending an awareness of openness through your body. Good, and then we'll draw knees in. Keep your right knee in. Let your left foot step down on the mat. Feel that connection. And then pressing your leg out long. Just stretch the left leg out long on the floor, keeping the right knee in, and maybe just support underneath your knee to keep the pressure off the joint. Draw your knee in towards your chest or toward the underarm area. Press in, press out long through that long leg. Press it out. So the soles of your feet are open, receiving. Your toes are spread. Breathe. And then from here, just stay right where you are, except the right foot is just going to lift up toward the sky as you draw your knee in. So as you're here, reach up, and if you can, and take hold of the outside of your pinky toe there and pull the knee in more closely. But if that's too extreme for you, just hold on underneath the knee still. But just draw that knee in. This is called half happy baby. And we're going to press out through the other foot and just see how you feel here. Take a moment. Soften the shoulders, soften your face. And breathe. And then we'll take both hands behind the right knee or the right thigh and interlace your fingers. Soften your shoulders here. And then press up through your leg. Press up nice and long from the heel. Spread your toes. Notice where you're feeling that today. If you need to, release the knee a little bit, bend it in just slightly, and then press up. You can work our way into this. So bending the knee. Take a breath here. Exhale, press up. And bend the knee in on your inhale. Press up on your exhale. And then we'll bend the knee, draw the other knee in. This time we'll step the right foot down on the mat and take a moment to feel the mat underneath your foot. Kind of feels nice. It's a little grounding motion there. And then we'll draw the left knee in, stretch out long, lengthen that right leg out, press out through the soles of your feet, soften your shoulders here, and take a moment to breathe here and feel the extension. You have your left knee snuggled in towards you, your right leg pressing out. Just notice how that feels for you today. Soften your jaw, soften your face. Breathe. And from here, let's take the left foot up to the sky. Notice how that feels as you draw the knee in. So if this is too much, if you're feeling a little too much in the right foot flexor here, you can always bend the right knee and take the right foot to the mat with a little bend in your knee. But let's reach up if you can. If you want to stay here behind the knee, that's great. If you want to reach up, take hold of the pinky toe side of your left foot and then draw the knee towards you. You want to extend the right leg. Notice maybe there's a difference between this side and the other side. How does the front of your right hip feel here? I always have a little congestion here. So this is a place where if you're feeling it in that place like I am, you just want to take your breath in, press out, and just notice. Think about expanding, reaching. All the while softening the left knee in towards you a little bit more. Good, and then we'll support underneath the left thigh, maybe with interlaced fingers, or you can take up underneath the calf if you like. And just press the sole of your left foot up. Strong through the heel. Take a breath here. Exhale, bend the knee a little bit. Take a breath here when you're ready, and on your exhale, press the sole of your foot up. On your inhale, draw the knee in gently. Exhale, press. Inhaling when you're ready, softening your knee. Exhale, press up. And last time, press up, feel where you're feeling it. You might want to flex and point through your foot a little bit, roll the ankle around. And then draw that knee to your chest. Take other knee in, rock side to side. Good, and then we will roll all the way over onto our mat, onto our side toward the screen, and just rest here a moment. So going back, I'm going to sit up. Go ahead and stay here. Going back to those thoughts of making room for God's presence within, for inviting Christ to make his home in us today, joined with him so that we can be fruitful. Because it isn't just about ourselves bearing fruit, and here it is. It's about that fruit bringing forth God's presence in the world to your sphere of influence. How are you putting out love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, gentleness, goodness, faithfulness, self-control, self-discipline, prudence? How are you putting those things out in the world to be a blessing to those around you? So when we invite the Holy Spirit in, when we adopt that enthusiasm and theos, God within, that's what happens. So where are you with that today? How does that feel for you? So roll yourself on up. We're going to come to all fours. So come around. So all fours, taking your knees underneath your hips and hands underneath shoulders if that's accessible. If it's a little too much pressure to have your body weight right grounding here, you can take your hands a little forward. You can roll your mat back towards you and place your palms on the mat, letting your fingers drop off the end. See what feels comfortable, and if none of that feels good, you can always come down to forearms as well. Just making sure, no matter where you are, you're keeping your abdominal muscles toned here. So as we come to all fours, we're just going to wag our tail side to side. It's like a little hula. You're going to hike the hip up one way, other way, and maybe you'll want to just circle the hips around. coming into an awareness of your body in this place. So we're kind of opening up the side body a little bit, the lower back. And we'll come to center and take a deep breath in as you glide your heart forward, look up. Tail kind of tips up to the sky. You want to keep that tone in the belly though. And on your exhale, curl the hips under, round your tail under. Drop your chin to your chest, round your spine. And on your next inhale, gliding forward, looking ahead, tail tips up. Nice breath in, yum, yum, yum. Exhale, round, curl. And inhale, reverse. So let's take it a couple more times on the breath. Inhaling open, exhale, round. Inhale, lengthen and lift. Where are you feeling this? Exhale, round. And this time we're going to sit back on the heels in child's pose. So draw your toes together. Maybe widen your knees a little bit and press your hips back towards your heels, child's pose. Allow your hairline to rest on the mat or a block or blanket, wherever you feel comfortable. And from here, we'll just gently shift your hips side to side. And we're going to press up a little bit away from the mat, not too far. And walk your hands over to your left side, reaching out. Pressing your hips back behind you on the diagonal. So if your hands are towards your left, you're going to press your hips to the right behind you. Maybe you'll feel this in the side lower back there. As you keep your hips tucked in, press back. And we'll take a breath here. Allow your exhale to crawl you over, climb over to the other side. And this time you're reaching to the right side, left hip presses back and away. Breathe. And then we'll climb back to center. Come on up. We're going to take a little flow here. So come back to center. We're going to move just between down dog and child's pose on the breath. So, wait a minute. What did I say? No. Cat, cow, and child's pose. Not down dog yet. We're going to do that in a minute. So there's a little heads up for you. All right. So take an inhale into cow. Exhale, cat, and child's pose. On your inhale, round up through child's pose, come all the way to cow. Exhale, round into cat, sit back, child's pose. Inhale, round, come up through cat, all the way to cow. Exhale, round, sit back, child's pose, reaching out through the fingertips, shoulders are broad. Inhale, round up. You're going to round up through cat all the way to cow down your inhale. Exhale is going to round the back, sit back to child's pose and stay. Couple of breaths here. Notice where your body's asking to have space created. Maybe you feel a little tight somewhere. Maybe you want to move into that. Let's play with that a little bit. And on your inhale, come all the way up to all fours, tuck your toes, and we'll press back to an easy down dog. First down dog, press one heel back, other heel back, other heel down toward the mat. We're just treading out your feet. As we say, walking the dog. Press one heel down, other heel down. Notice where you're feeling this in your body this morning. And then come up on your tiptoes. Snuggle your rib cage in, press into the knuckles of your fingers, press back, and then drive your heels down gently toward the mat. Lift your arches, press back, nice and long. And then on your inhale, drop to your knees, release your toes away, and sit back into child's pose. So we're going to take that as a flow now. So on your inhale, coming up to all fours, tuck your toes, exhale back into down dog. Give yourself a nice long exhale. Inhale, release your knees to the mat, release your toes away, down to child's pose. So can you feel your breath as you inhale up, moving your body up? Can you feel your exhale, tucking your toes, pressing you back into a long, luxurious Down dog. And inhale, shift forward, release your knees, toes release, press back. And one more time, coming up to down dog and hold. So find your down dog here. You might want to even twist your hips around a little bit. Maybe you want to come to child's pose. Breathe, just work it. Firm legs. One heel, other heel, both heels. And then dropping your knees to the mat. Release back to child's pose. Again, take your hands back behind you by your ankles. Circle out your wrists. Good. And so from this comfy child's pose, where we're circling out our wrists, shaking them out, we're going to take the hands under our shoulders here. Send them out ahead of us. And as you take your hands out ahead, you're going to lift your hips up, press forward, shift forward in onto your belly. We're going to do a little baby cobra flow here. So we want to set up in a way that's going to protect our lower back. So let's think about this a second. So if I just press right up and sink into my lower back, I won't be doing myself a whole lot of good because it pinches it, it crunches it, it compresses it. Yuck. So what we want to do is think about engaging the abdominal muscles while we're down here. Engage it, and as you engage your abdominals, you'll feel the lower back maybe lengthen out a little bit. So you want to maintain that space in the lumbar spine as you reach out through your legs with energy. You want to firm your legs, press out behind you as if you're flying. You have your hands underneath your shoulders. Take your nose down toward the floor. So keeping your tail tucked here a little bit, engage your belly. On your inhale, you're just going to lift your upper back. Shoulders are broad. And then exhale down. So you're not pressing into your hands to lift. Your hands don't really have any weight. They're not bearing any weight. They're just there to support. So inhale, lift. Just the upper body, exhale, down. Maintaining that integrity of your spine, your legs. Inhale, lift. And exhale, down. So we're going to take this about 6 times. So you take it at your own pace. Listen to your body. If you need to rest or back off, please do. Inhale up and down. Again, inhaling, lengthen your spine first. You're lengthening out from the crown of your head out through your legs. And then you're lowering on your exhale. A couple more times, just a couple more. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Take a couple of breaths here just to strengthen. If you need to rest, please rest. And then exhale down. So as you exhale here, turn your toes toward each other. Let your bottom relax. Let your belly be soft. Allow your head to turn to the side and rest your cheek on your hands. So you can rock your hips side to side here a little bit. Maybe turn your head other way. Even everything out. And then we'll take our hands under our shoulders. Press up and slowly come up to all fours. As you take your fingers wide here, your hands wide to the outer edges of your mat. Take your knees together here. And we're just going to shift side to side. I'll come this way. So we're just going to shift the hips directly side to side. We're not pressing back. We're not forward. We're just shifting side to side. Good. And now take your knees a little bit farther apart. Take your toes together. Press back into child's pose. So pressing way back. And breathe. And we'll come on up to all fours. And let's take the right leg ahead and a lunge. Yay, I know you're happy to see this, right? This is so good for us. So right now, if you know that you need something underneath your knee, please grab something, a pillow or a folded towel. You can pause it here, go get it. It's worth it because you don't want to hurt your knee. So here you are. So just say we paused it, your back, you got your support under your knee. Let's find our lunge, okay? So pressing forward, shifting through. Come up to your knee here and make sure that your hips are level. You don't want one hip hipped up. You don't want one hip higher than the other. Let me go this way. So there's a tendency in a lunge to hike this hip up and go that way. You want to come up, have your hips nice and level. So you're gathering in center, gather into the midline, rib cage snuggles in, body lifts, press. So you're just pressing your hips forward without falling over your leg. Scoop under, press the hips forward here. Breathe. So where can you soften here without disturbing the integrity of the pose? Sometimes we hold things in our jaws. Sometimes, we got something clenching here because we don't want to go to here. It's tiring. It is. Maybe not to you. Press forward. Don't want to plant any seeds there. Breathe. This is lovely. It's a wonderful opening for the hip flexor. Pressing forward. And then we're going to take our hands down. Breathe. Lengthen your spine. Shift your hips back. So you're just pressing the hips back. Come on back. Take your front foot out and lift it. So once again, you don't want to hike the hip up. See how that's hiked up? You want to press it down. You can take your hand there and do it for yourself. Press up. And we'll take a little stretch here. Inhale here. And exhale. Step down onto that foot. Glide forward. Press through. So we'll take it on the inhale and exhale, okay? So inhale, toe comes up. Press back. Exhale, forward. Inhale, lift, press back. Toe comes up, hip presses down, forward. One more time, inhale up. Yay, press forward. Good, so now that we're forward, I'm gonna turn around sideways again. So we're gonna go into a high lunge, which means that the back toe turns under and you're pressing out with energy from your heart all the way back through your heel. So notice your front foot. I'm thinking that's your right foot. Your right hand supports you. The left hand is going to raise up, give you a little turn this way. Exhale down and come to the other side. Fingertips down. Turn toward your knee. Press up. But all the while, keeping your spine nice and long. We don't hover in and lean on your leg. You're pressing out long through your back leg. Lots of energy. And exhale down. And now drop the back knee. Take your toe away from you. Come on up to all fours and we'll take hands to heart and lift up. Turn towards your knee and I'm going to be turning away from you. So you're going to take your elbow on that opposite knee and press through in a low lunge. So let's see, I'll come this way. So you're pressing through, heart lifts, turn from the base of your spine, turn, take the elbow around to the outside of your knee, press. If you'd like to keep hands down, that's fine, please do. And then come back to center. And we'll press back. So coming back to all fours, let's take the leg that was just bent in front of us, the right leg back behind us and lengthen out. And then we'll take the other leg forward. So your left foot comes forward into your lunge. And I like to call this the soccer team photo pose because everybody's like this with their soccer ball, right? So we're up here nice and tall. And we're going to take the leg in front. So you want to have your hips aligned, keep them square. Integrity in your body as you lift and press through there. So you're lengthening out through that front, the hip flexor. Pressing in. but you're not leaning over on your thigh. So we're nice and strong in center. How's that for you today? And then we'll take hands down. Notice how this feels. This is a different shift, a little shift in the awareness of where we're opening. So maybe you're feeling it in a different place now. Just notice. And so, on your next inhale, we'll shift back, bring your toes up, sit back without hiking that hip up. Press that hip down on your left. And inhale, glide forward. Hello. Exhale back. So now gather your awareness inside and notice where your body's talking to you. You live in this body. This is your temple. This is your abode. This is the, God talks to Ezekiel and he says, he takes him to the inner courts and he says, this is the place for my throne, a place for the soles of my feet. And I see that as our innermost holy of holies, where the glory of God comes in. He says, oh, I'm going to make my throne right here. I'm going to plant my feet right here in your inner court. So pressing forward. Good. So we'll stay here. And then if you'll recall, we tuck the back toes under. Left foot ahead, tuck the back toes under. Lift that leg if that's accessible. If not, you can stay down. Lift the leg up. And then take your right hand to the floor. We'll lift the right arm up. So you want to be long in your spine. Press out long through that back heel. A lot of energy out through the back leg. Take your hand up. Take a gaze up. And down. And we'll go other way. We'll lift. And down. And then drop your knee to the floor. We'll come back to that soccer ball photo pose here. Take our hands to our heart. Press forward. And then you're going to twist toward the knee. Take your elbow if you can. And shifting forward, twisting here. So there's a long line from your tailbone all the way up through the crown of your head. If you want to take one hand down, other hand to your knee and twist. Perfect. Good. And then coming back out, tuck the back toes under. Bring the front foot to make the back foot press back into down dog. On your inhale, take your knees to the mat. Exhale, child's pose. Take your hands around by your ankles. Shake them out. Good. And then coming on up to all fours, tuck your toes. And we're just going to walk our feet to our hands. Hands back to your feet. Take a little rotation here. I like to do that. Bend my knees a little bit. And then walk over one foot, walk over the other foot. And we'll take our hands to our knees. Press into your feet. Take an inhale, swoop up slowly or roll up. Reach up, out. And hands to heart. And here we are, standing. So, are you feeling enthusiastic? Are you? Are you feeling it yet? The presence of God within? Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Okay, so to carry on here, let's go ahead and do our thumps. We're going to open up those energy lines in our body so that we do create more space for God to live within. So we'll take our fingers and tap around the eye socket. Breathe. This is a good time to just catch your breath. I know I'm catching my breath. There's something about those lunges this morning. Every day is different. Breathe in, and then fingers on either side of your nose and that little divot on the outside of your nose. You just want to massage there. Breathe in. Allergy season, they say, is coming in, so you want to create that flow through the sinuses. Good, 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 good. And then we'll come down to the collarbone. Find your collarbone there and find where there's a little divot on either side of the sternum, about right here. There's your breastbone, your sternum here. There's a little divot there. So just want to massage that or thump it. So see what feels right for you, either a massage, a thump, take a breath. And we'll come to the middle of the chest. Getting the thymus gland working, immune system assistance. And then we'll go under the breast, under the breastbone, under the breast, on the rib cage, all around. And then we'll come to our little chicken dance point there, which is about 4 inches under the arm. I'm just going to circle around there, press in and circle. Sometimes that's a little tender, you know, just good to know. And then we're going to reach down and tap all the way up the sides of our legs. Just tap it in, coming on up. You're going to go through the side body, through your ribs, up under your arms, give it a twirl. And 2 more times at your own pace. So tap, breathe, tap and breathe. And swish. 1 more time. Tap outside the legs. And twirl here, a little press, little circles. Take your legs out and we'll tap the insides of the legs. Inside. All the way up and around. You can do it again. Breathe. And up. And 1 more time. Breathe. And twirl. Good. Shake it out. And so now we're going to just jangle. Breathe. Shake it out. And if you like, you can go ahead and twirl it. So take the arms, let them fly, and just swing around. Flying free here, just round and around. Let them just give you a little whack in the kidney. And if you'd like to take your gaze all the way around, you certainly can do that. If your balance feels a little wonky today, just keep your gaze ahead. And then make your way back to center. Breathe. Notice your feet. Grounding into the earth. Pulling the awareness of energy up through your legs. Firming the muscles around your bones. Gathering your abdominals in and lifting. So it's like this little fountain. We're going to start here at the pubic bone. Lift up. Draw your belly in. Open the heart. And come out. Pull it up. We're going to go all the way to the lips this time. Pull up. Out. Last time. Pull it up. This is a gesture of energetic protection. Take your hands to your heart. Step into mountain. And just become aware of how you feel here. Grounding from heart center down through the solar plexus, down through the root, down to the center of the earth. If you like, you can lay a hand on your solar plexus, one on the sacral chakra. And with awareness, just notice the sense of gravity that you feel. That's that pull down all the way through the floor, down through the ground, down through all those layers of the earth to the center core. Rooted and grounded in love, right? Oh, how long and wide and high and deep is the love of Christ. Here we are standing right in it, high and deep. And now take your awareness to that plumb line that comes up through the center of your body, deep in here, right in front of your spine, between your sternum and your spine, up through the center of your neck, up through the crown of your head, woo, up, pulling up high. And so there we are rooted and grounded. We are lifted, connected to the heavens. How wonderful is that? And here we are, suspended right in center, so that because we have this support lifting, we have the groundedness of our roots, we can do whatever we need to do. And so let's come back to center. We're going to do a half sun salutation, and we'll take an inhale, reach to the sky. Notice the groundedness, the reach, heaven and earth. Exhale, dive forward and surrender. Just bowing to God's presence this morning, that love that stands before you. And inhale, come up halfway. Notice the path that God has for you as an individual, as a unique soul. And exhale forward. Inhale, maybe bend your knees a little bit, press into your feet, swoop the arms up, come on up to the top, hands touch. And draw that plumb line right down to the heart. And breathe. So we'll swoop arms up, interlace fingers above your head, and steeple mudra. It's like here's the church, here's the steeple, right? You are the steeple this morning. And go into the steeple. Take a breath and exhale to your left. Inhale up. Exhale right. So you want to be fully engaged and centered to keep your back stable and strong and safe. Stable, strong, and safe. Those are 3 S's. Good thing. Come on up through center and exhale. And inhale, reaching up. Shoulders are down. Shoulder blades down your back. And next time you go to your right, stay there. Press out through your left hips. Press your feet into the ground. Reach up and over. You have this arc, this crescent moon. And then inhale up. And we'll arc over the other way. Remember, tummy's in. Long line on the outside of your body. Round your ribs. Come on up to center. Find center. Turn your palms out and step out into 5-pointed star. So take a moment to send your energy down through your roots, down through your legs. Draw your energy up and out through the fingers. Good. And now we're going to just shift into a warrior 2, going to your right. So we'll turn the left foot in, angle the right foot out. Take your palms down and just glide sideways. So we want to be strong in the legs, pulling up energy from the ground, all the while settling. Lifting up through the belly, out through the fingertips. Pressing the knee out away from you. So you can feel that in the glutes. You can feel it right in the hips as you open here, spiraling open, pressing out. So on your inhale, we'll straighten the front leg. Take the arms up. Inhale up. Exhale, blossom out with strength. Inhale, press up. Exhale, blossom out. Can you feel that blossoming? A couple more times. Last time, press. Feel it, strong, open, heart open. Straighten that front leg. And now we're going to take the left hand to your hip, reach way out. So it's on the diagonal. You're pressing out long through your left hip. Take your right hand down to wherever you're comfortable. Maybe it's your thigh. Maybe today it's your shin, one or the other. Maybe it's your ankle if you're really wide open today. So we're going to take the hand that's on your right hip, use it to draw the right hip back, lengthen out from your belly button through the sternum, through the crown of your head. Take the top arm up and open out. Triangle. So you see how your heart is wide open here. This is creating space in the heart, space for God's presence. And inhale, pull it up. Come on down. Let your hands rest. Ease out your shoulders. And so we'll inhale, arms out again, bending into that front knee. So you're going to go through this little warrior two, but this time you'll take your right forearm, place it on your thigh. Your left hip is going to press in. Left arm goes up on the diagonals. This is extended. What is this? All of a sudden, I'm having a menopausal moment. Anyway, this is what it is. So we're reaching out long through the side body, through the fingertips, down your side body, out through the outside of your foot. Strong in the legs. Inhale, come up. Good. Exhale, toes forward. Take your hands to your hips. Lift, arm, shoulders back. Exhale. Bend your knees a little bit. Dive forward. Forward fold. Let everything hang. Take elbow to elbow. And hang here. You take your hands to the mat if you like. Really bend your elbows here. So your fingertips are about in line with your toes if you can. Forward fold. So how does this feel? Notice where you are. Notice the backs of your legs maybe talking to you this morning. Lift the arches of your feet and press your sit bones up to the sky. And then we'll take our hands to our knees, bend your knees. Come on up. Roll the shoulders back. And then just bring yourself together. Come back to center. We're going to go back to that half sun salutation. So palms to your heart. Take an inhale here and lift. Exhale, dive forward. Inhale halfway. And exhale, forward fold. Now inhale, lift. Press into your feet, arms swoop up over your head, palms touch. As you're here, stay there for just a second and notice that connection. Straight up to the sky, palms touch. And now we're pulling that heavenly connection right down to through the forehead, through our mouth, through our throat, to our heart. So we're joining all those parts of us that connect up to heaven to the heart. And now you're going to be aware of the connection with the earth and the heart through your legs, through your feet. Breathe. And now we'll take arms up, steeple mudra. Shoulders relax. Remember to keep your belly in. We'll take a breath and exhale to your right. Inhale up, breath pulling up. Exhale over, arcing. Just a nice gentle arc to wherever feels comfortable for you, but just follow your breath. Notice how your awareness of your feet shift from foot to foot as you go side to side. And then stay to your right. A couple of breaths here. Inhale up. Exhale up, stay to your left. Breathe and come on back to center. And I don't know if you can see what's happening on my screen, but I'm going to make that go away. Good. So we're back to center. Palms forward, step out into five-pointed star. Reach out. Good, take your hands down, turn your feet towards your left side this time. Maybe take a moment to shift and move and see what's comfortable for your stance here. The back foot is angled in, front foot turns out. So again, that's spiraling out through the thighs, tall spine. Good, so let's take an inhale as we reach, exhale up and out. Into warrior two. So you're just gliding sideways. Breathe. So you don't have to stay static. You can always, you're always in this conversation with what's center, what feels good, what feels strong, what do I need to do with my body, this temple, to make it more aligned. Breathe. And on your inhale, we'll straighten the front leg, take arms up over our head. Exhale, up and out. Inhale with strength, lift. Exhale, float. Swoop up. And float and stay. Take your gaze over your fingertips. Breathe. And then we'll lengthen the front leg, straighten it out. Take the right hand to your hip. Press out into that hand as you reach way out on the diagonal. So when you do this, you'll find that your legs begin to firm. You need to firm the legs up, draw that energy up, pull it out through the sternum. As you take your hand to your thigh, shin, wherever you're comfortable. Pulling the hip back, shoulder back, and now pressing out long through your body. Firm legs. Notice your back foot pressing out into the outer edge of your back foot, straight through the center of your front foot. Thighs firm. Breathe. There's that constant play with what's what. How does this feel? And on your inhale, floating up. Come back to warrior two. Left forearm to your thigh, and we're going to press the right hip through. Lengthen through the center of your body there. Press out through the outer edge, the bottom of your back foot, and you're going to take that top arm on the diagonal. Breathe here. If you'd like to take your gaze up under your arm, you can. Breathe. And inhale, float up. Take your arms out. Toes forward. Take your hands down to your hips. Take a nice breath, look up. And exhale, forward fold. So you want to have a long back, forward fold. Hands to wherever you're comfortable. Maybe shift side to side a little bit. Good. And now bending your knees here, we're going to walk our feet together. Come back to sitting. So make your way down to your mat. And we'll take our legs out in front. Good, so find your way down into your seated posture. Oh, get yourself comfortable and situated. So again, if you need to perch on a towel or a blanket, please do that. You can always put it underneath your sit bones there to give your hips a little support so that you make more room for your organs, your spine can lift maybe a little easier. Good, so find yourself in center here, pressing out through the soles of your feet, toes up. Lift your heart. So notice as you kind of rock back and forth where your sit bones are. You want to come to a neutral spine. So we want to take the ribs and knit them together in front so they aren't jutting out. Lifting strong and tall up through center. Good, so then we'll take the right knee up. Take your hand and put it between your foot and your leg. So you want a little space there so that your leg is in alignment with your hip. And we'll take opposite arm out. So if this is your right knee, this is your left arm, take a breath. Energy flowing out, creating space. Exhale, come around. You might want to take your arm on the inside of your knee. You might want to take a hold of your knee. Just see how that feels for your shoulders. Sitting up tall. Other hand comes around behind on your fingertips. And then press up tall. You're sitting nice and tall here, wherever you are. See my other toes? They're still lifted. They aren't just hanging out. That leg is energized. It's enthused. The other leg has enthusiasm, right? Filled with God's presence. So sit up tall and then take a breath. And we'll begin our twist. So take your twist at your own pace, your own breath. How does that feel for you today? Just noticing, allow your gaze to come around last, but keeping your spine tall without caving. Nice tall spine. And we'll make our way around to center and keep on going just to give a little counter twist. And back to center. So come back to center. Drop this leg out to the side. So you can take this foot, pull it up into your inner thigh if that's comfortable. Just give it a little whirl, see how it feels. That's not comfortable, take it down a little further away. And also, if you feel a little strained here with that leg bending out to the side, you can grab a pillow or a blanket or something and just tuck it under there. Maybe you have a block at home that you can use. And so here we are sitting up tall in center. Once again, notice your sit bones, sit up tall, and we're just going to hinge forward at the hips. So you're going to lengthen your spine out, lead with your breastbone and not your chin. Keep your chin in, lead with the breastbone. Take your hands to wherever you're comfortable. Take a breath here and forward fold. So those toes are still up in front. So this is where you can play with this. You can gather your awareness in. Maybe soften your face, soften your eyes, close your eyes. Notice where your body's feeling this. And rest forward. Maybe pull forward a little bit further if you want a little more sensation. If you feel like you need to back off, just raise up a little bit. Full of grace, right? Always full of grace, non-judgment. So breathe. So after the movement that we've just done, moving, pulling, hauling, twirling, whatever we've been doing, let's gather back in now. Gather back into center. And we'll come up. Good, so now we'll take this foot and put it on top of our knee if that's accessible. If it isn't, just take it down by the ankle. And then we'll bend this knee, shift back. So notice that this foot is in alignment with the hip. We're going to flex this foot, the one that's on top, so that the toes, the top of your foot is just in alignment with your shin. Press up nice and tall in your body. And so notice how this feels in your right hip. If you want to take that foot in closer, if you want to draw the toes up to get a little bit more stretch. If you want more sensation, you can walk yourself towards your foot a little bit more, towards your shin. Keep the shoulders open, keep the heart lifted. Good. How's that feeling? Mm-hmm. So quiet. Breathe. Notice. Good. So let's straighten out the bottom leg. Take the other leg out. Reach down. Give it a little massage. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for being so good to me all this time. And so now we'll take the other side. Let's bend that knee. We'll take a hand's width in between the foot and your leg. Press out through the extended leg. Nice line, a little line of energy there, a little enthusiasm. Lift up. So your left arm will reach out. Find that circle of energy that swirls. Just imagine this, that energy swirling around in your heart space. Going, yay, here we go. We're going to go out through this arm. We're going to go up to the crown of your head. We're going to go down through the earth. So you're grounded, you're lifted, you're reaching out so that you can spiral around. Take your hand wherever it needs to be, on the knee, inside the, outside the knee, around the knee, whatever's comfortable. Get yourself situated here, sit up tall. And then take yourself around on your exhale to your twist. And breathe. Lengthening your spine. Think again about the rootedness of your spine. That line that goes up through the front of the spine, all the way through the crown of your head, but the lines of your body are spiraling around that center line of energy. You can imagine that. Straight up through the heavens, down to through the earth. And we'll take a breath here and lift. Exhale, other way, just counterpose, a little opposite twist. Come back to center and drop this knee out. Take your foot wherever you're comfortable. Energy through the supporting legs. Sit up tall. And forward fold. So remember, leading with your heart. And then make your way forward into whatever place is comfortable for you. If you want to close your eyes here, close your eyes. Focus inward. Breathe. And then on your inhale, lengthening your spine, pressing up. Good, and we'll take that leg out. Leg a little massage. Good, and let's take the soles of both feet together. Sit up nice and tall. You want to open the soles of your feet here. Sit up tall. And then we'll just do a little hinge forward. Just come to wherever you're comfortable here. So you want to lengthen out first. Take a breath. Exhale forward. Your feet don't have to be really close in. You can always take them out a little more, wherever you're comfortable. And rounding over. Just allow yourself to relax and be soft here. I'm just going to sit up so I can be present to you. So once again, creating space, enthusiasm, and theos, God within. How does that look for you today? God within. Jesus says, abide in me as I abide in you. Live in me as I live in you. Make our relationship intimate and organic. How does that look? Breathe. Pure. Close. Clean. Safe. Breathe. And then pressing up, we'll take your legs out, take them out ahead and shake them out. And so we're going to just go ahead and rest back on the mat now. So we'll reach forward, roll down, bring your knees with you as you come to the mat. Maybe rock side to side a little bit. And I have a little meditation for us today. So we're going to be doing some things lying down. I'm going to give you a little reading, and then we'll sit up and we'll use our cup for our final meditation. So just draw your knees in, plant your feet on the floor, feel yourself down on the mat, on the earth, and then stretch out one leg, stretch out the other leg, arms overhead in a big reach, and then arms down by your side if that's comfortable, just taking your arms wherever you are comfortable this morning. And settling in. Noticing your body here. If you need another little twist somehow, if you need some little motion, just take it. And then begin to settle in for our meditation. Quieting your mind, quieting your thoughts. And going back to that place of listening that we talked about in the beginning of class. So I'm reading to you now from Joyce Rupp, The Cup of Our Life. And the title of this portion is A Container of God's Presence. A quote from Macrina Whitaker. You are a dwelling place for the source of all life. You are a dwelling place for the source of all life. How does that register with you today? How does your dwelling place feel for you now? Your body, your precious body that you've been blessed with, is the temple of your spirit. As Joyce says to us, one of my favorite parts of the day is when I come in from my early morning walk and have a cup of freshly brewed, steaming hot coffee. On cold winter days, I especially like the feel of my favorite coffee mug in my hands, and I enjoy the sips of liquid that bring welcomed warmth to my body. My coffee mug reminds me that cups are containers designed to hold something refreshing, just as we are containers meant to hold the divine presence. Because God dwells within me, I like to think of myself as a mini Ark of the Covenant. God goes with me wherever I go. I carry God into each relationship and experience. Where do we find this God of ours? If we look at the Hebrew scriptures, we will find that the divine presence is everywhere, always moving and always calling to people wherever they may be. In the Christian scriptures, we find that the divine presence has made a home in us. As Jesus said, "Make your home in me." He used the image of the vine and the branches to emphasize that the same life that surges through all parts of that plant is similar to the life of God that surges through our being. Take a deep breath now with me. Can you feel that surge of life? Can you imagine that surge of life, that enthusiasm, God's presence within? God is no longer just out there. God is also here within us. The Spirit of Jesus lives on in our own bodily temples. We have become the home of God. When I remember that God has made a home in my heart and in the heart of each one I meet, I look at people and life quite differently. I am more patient and kind and much less judgmental. As you move through this day, brush off the old dust and cobwebs caused by busyness and non-attention, and become aware of how God travels with you. So take a moment just to rest in those words. And then we'll take a big stretch here, gathering knees to your chest, rolling around a little, come over to one side, and we'll press up to sitting. So as you come to sitting, find a comfortable seat, maybe taking your blanket underneath again if you'd like. Or you can stay lying down. You just need to be able to get to your cup and see it, but sitting might be better. You can even get up and sit in a chair if you prefer. Whatever's most comfortable for you. So sitting up tall, we'll take our hands to our knees or wherever you're comfortable, maybe to your thighs. And draw your awareness again back to the breath. Breathing in, softly breathing out. In and out through your nose, maybe through your mouth, whatever's comfortable. And I invite you now to join me in this breath prayer. As we breathe in, we speak to the Lord and we say, faithful love on our inhale, on our exhale, dwelling in me. So when you're ready, inhaling, thinking and praying, faithful love. Exhaling, living in me. Soft, easy breath, faithful love coming in on the in-breath. Pondering, living in me on the exhale. And at the bottom of your next breath, I invite you now to pick up your cup and just hold it in your hands. And I'll share with you this meditation on our cups this morning. Hold your empty cup in your hands. Notice the space within the cup. Think of the space within yourself. It is filled with the divine presence. Draw near to this loving presence. Sense this loving presence permeating your entire being. Breathe. Breathing in loving presence. Sensing that presence permeating your entire being. And rest in silence and tranquility. Listen to God say to you, I am here. And I'll close now with this prayer for us. O divine presence, you have danced your way into my innermost being. Mystery of life, you have tended and nurtured me. You have enriched my spirit and watered my dryness. You have poured your abundant love into the veins of my soul. In the darkest of nights, you have surrounded me with your love. O divine presence, your radiant energy surges through my being. I bow to the profound mystery of your sacred life within me. Lord Christ, Yeshua, Adonai, Lord God, Ruach, Holy Spirit, wind, breath, loving presence. We thank you. We receive you, we carry you as you carry us in love. Amen. Thank you all for practicing with me today. Put your cups down now as we say shalom. Thank you all. Have a great week. And maybe we'll do some more of Joyce next week, but who knows what God will do. Have a great week, knowing that God lives within. Enthusiasm, God within.